Hi, this is Anita from the Dusty Roads podcast. Today we're going to go to a part of the United States, which is one of my favorite parts, which is, of course, Yellowstone Park. But we're not going to just talk about Yellowstone Park. We're going to talk about Yogi Bear and Jellystone. If any of you watched the cartoon, I remember growing up with that cartoon talking about Yogi Bear. And if you watch it, you maybe wondered, where is Jellystone based upon Yellowstone Park? I mean, the two sound so familiar. Well, Yogi Bear's Jellystone is known to be based upon Yellowstone National Park. Even though it's a fictional cartoon bear that made his debut in 1958, he was in many comic books, television shows, and the Huckleberry Hound show. Yogi Bear became so popular that in 1961, he was given a show, The Yogi Bear Show. And recently, this Yogi Bear character has been revitalized in a new series called Jellystone. So it is believed that the original Jellystone is based upon Yellowstone National Park. The original Jellystone was meant to represent all national parks, not just Yellowstone. But of course, since Yellowstone is such a popular park and Yellowstone has bears, then it's really based more upon the Yellowstone Park than many other national parks. You know, if you remember about Yogi Bear, he had this fictional Jellystone. In the Jellystone Park was a fictional character, his constant companion called Boo Boo Boo. And the two would try to steal picnic baskets from campers in the Yellowstone Park. And Yellystone and Boo 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 were always getting in trouble with the park ranger Smith. He also had a girlfriend named Cindy Bear who disapproved of all of Yogi Bear's antics of what he was trying to do. You know, there's several favorite Yogi Bear scenes, but there's one from the movie 2010. And, here's some of the favorite scenes. This is with Yogi Bear, Ranger Smith, and Boo Boo, that are going to save Yellowstone from destruction. Okay, Ranger Smith said, "What do you want from me, Yogi? I don't have a life left for you to ruin anymore." Yogi Bear says, "Sir, I know I messed things up, and I'm sorry. I never meant to. You and Boo Boo are the best friends I ever had, and I've never done anything but think of myself. And now Yellowstone is going to be a big field of stumps." What? They started cutting down the trees. Agricultural interests in logging. "Oh no, not our Jellystone. We have to save it, sir." "I don't think we can save it, Yogi." And then Ranger Smith says, "I'm no smarter than you. I've lost Jellystone. I lost Rachel. It's all over." Then Yogi Bear says, "Mr. Ranger, I've learned two things from selling picnic baskets. One, light mayonnaise is not nearly as good as regular mayonnaise. And two, you can't fail if you never stop trying. You have to fight for the thing you love, whether it's a park, a girl, or a roast beef sandwich. Don't give up now. We're all Yellowstone's got." Ranger Smith rises up to his feet. He says, "You're right, Yogi. Yellowstone's too important to give up on. We've got to try. Come on." And then Yogi Bear says, "Shotgun." And Boo Boo says, "Ah." You know, I love that quote because that kind of shows the relationship between Yogi Bear and Ranger Smith and them trying to save the Yellowstone Park from all of these loggers that are coming in. Another one is with Yogi Bear, Rachel, Ranger Smith, and Boo Boo try to save an endangered turtle. Ranger Smith said, "Hey, you need to let us in this park. The turtle needs our protection." The chief of staff says, "Don't worry about the turtle. We're handling it. We'll make sure he's put in the right nice zoo." Rachel says, "No, a turtle that's endangered can't be removed from its natural habitat. It's against federal law." Chief of Staff, "Is it? Wow, I've never heard of that law. In Chapter 4, Subsection 6 of the Wildlife Protection Mandate. Don't worry, Mr. Ranger Smith. The turtle is safe. The people have no idea where my cave is." The Chief of Staff goes into his walkie-talkie, said, "The turtle's in the Talking Bear's cave." Roger Jones says, "Copy that." Yogi Bear says, "Wow, that backfired." "Okay, you know what? Fine, you win." Ranger Smith then turns around to walk away. Rachel glares at the chief of staff, who waves to her with an evil smile. Then Rachel's whispering, "What are you doing?" Ranger Smith says, "I have a plan." He unlocks the gate. And then Ranger Smith says one of the advantages, and he throws a big branch aside, of having lived here since I was a kid is I know this park like the back of my hand. Let's go. So Ranger Smith climbs into Rachel's truck. Yogi and Boo Boo sit in the back. Rachel turns to them and says, "Hold on, boys." Yogi says, "All right." And then they drive through the gate and into the park. One of the great things about the Yogi Bear series and the Yellowstone Park is that it really sort of makes the bear, the Yogi Bear, seem to be a human being. And that's one of the great things about this series itself. But one of the reasons why I love this Yogi Bear and Jellystone and Boo Boo and Ranger Smith and all the rest of them is that, I remember growing up and you would go and you'd see, the Yogi Bear and about fire dangers as you'd walk in some of the national parks that basically look out for fire dangers, don't burn down the parks. So Yogi Bear and Boo Boo and Ranger Smith and all the rest of them have really done a lot of things to try to protect many of these parks. And even though it's based upon a fictional park and is to represent all national parks in the United States, they also have a great message, great message about illegal logging, about protecting the park, about endangered species, about trying to help out the endangered species. And, basically about the fact that our national parks and our national wonders need to be protected in every way. If you ever have the chance or opportunity to go to Yellowstone Park, it's beautiful part of the United States to go. There's, some great hiking. There's, it's just some great places to be able to see there at the park. It's a beautiful part of the United States. I have been there several times. I've always really enjoyed it. There's some cute towns along the way, such as Jackson Hole, Wyoming, that you can go in and to see, which are fun to be able to go in. But at the same time, when you go in there, you can remember Yogi Bear and Jellystone and Boo Boo, or as some people say, Boo Boo Boo, but Boo Boo, and to be able to realize that this is a park, which really, really needs to be protected. We need to protect our national parks. So when you enter them with the reverence of someone like Yogi Bear that would want to be able to protect the park itself. If you'd like to be able to read more about the Jellystone Park and about Yogi Bear and about why Yogi Bear is still considered to be an important cartoon character even today and has lasted all these years, you can read our blog post on Is Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park based on Yellowstone Park. This is Anita from A Bus on a Dusty Road, or from the Dusty Roads podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed this, where it's all about living your life as a global citizen, that we really believe that you should go out and strive to live your life as a global citizen. We'd like to thank you for being part of our community, and we'd like to thank those who helped make this possible, specifically Rico helps put this podcast together and get it out there in the world, so for the world can hopefully be able to understand a little bit more about what it means to live your life as a global citizen. Thank you.